morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
So today is a very special day. So today, a very special guest is with us, Mr. Prithvi Nath. So he secured 541 rank in UPSC CSE 2020. He belonged to Telangana state. He is our student, and it is our absolute honor and privilege to welcome him. He himself is a doctor, and his option was anthropology. So today's session is going to be very important for all of you. Whatever doubt you have about prelims, mains, interview, you can ask sir. So without wasting time, a big round of applause for Prithvi sir.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
First of all, sorry for keeping you waiting for around half an hour. Okay, how do we start it? Should I keep on telling, or will you ask some questions which I should elaborate? No opinions? Okay, option 1, raise your hands. Option 2? So you don't like either ways? You don't like the session at all? Don't like to have the session at all? Okay, let me do it this way. First I will give a brief introduction about what I have learned during this preparation. Not only from my own experiences, I have been interacting with many of the senior aspirants and people who have cleared the exam. So I will share some of the things which I have learned and observed in this process. Okay, coming to about myself, I am Gunrati Prithvi Nath Gaur. I hail from Telangana, Vanapati district, as Sir said. I have done my MBBS from Osmania Medical College, and from 2019 I started preparing for UPSC Civil Services. This year I was able to make it into the final list with 541 rank, and my optional is anthropology. Okay, coming to UPSC. So all of us are from different backgrounds. People sitting in this class, each one of you are from different backgrounds and probably of different age groups also sometimes. So UPSC is one such exam which does not discriminate with respect to your background or age group or some other thing. But there are some common characteristics or qualities, you can say, which the aspirants I have observed, which most of the aspirants making into the final list will have. So what are these qualities? Do you have any opinions on that? Like, these are the qualities that should be present for me to make it into the final list. Anyone want to share about that?
Patience.
Patience. And consistency. And purpose. Very good. And
Determination.
determination. And perseverance. And specific qualities to clear the exam. Smart work and hard work. Okay. Yes, these are more or less the qualities which will help us to come on to that level playing field where we get an equal chance to get into the final list. So beyond that, along with these qualities, so smart work. So even if you have these qualities and if you are not working in the right direction, your work will not give you the expected outcomes. So what else is required to convert these qualities into smart work combined with hard work? Understanding the exam. Understanding what UPSC needs. Understanding what approach we should develop towards the examination. And planning. Why do we need to plan? See, this exam is often termed as unpredictable and uncertain. So if you don't have proper planning, not only with respect to approaching the exam, with respect to your timelines in life, you will keep on writing without proper efforts or proper guidance. You will keep on writing and you will end up after 7 years without any backup. So proper planning is required in two aspects. One, with respect to the examination. Second, with respect to our personal life and what are we going to do if not this exam. And third is mental courage. When we say the exam is unpredictable and uncertain, it takes a lot to put in all our efforts for years long, knowing that we might not end up in the final list. So for that we need to have the mental courage to take this step forward and also to accept whatever the result is. And what else is required, do you think? Understanding the examination, planning, mental courage, and planning itself is not enough. Implementation. You need to have determination, perseverance, and you should constantly remind yourself the purpose why you are here, and you should maintain consistency with patience to implement whatever you have planned to clear this examination. Make sense, right? So what if we fail in any of this step? You are investing some of the valuable time of your life. Not only you, take it me, anyone who is aspiring for this examination. Like after our graduation, we aspire to become a civil servant and we start preparing for this examination. So if we are not in the right track, this time is going to cost us a lot. We might not end up in the final list and we might not end up learning something, but the time goes in vain. So to avoid that, you should have these things in mind and constantly remind yourself to be in track, to be in the with the right company. Selecting the right company, by saying that, I mean to say selecting the right group, selecting the right mentors. You should have the capacity to make judgment. What is useful for my examination and what is not. It is okay to be selfish with respect to preparation in this examination, because as I said, the time you are investing is very valuable, some of the important period of your life. So what else? What are the common questions we will have with respect to this examination, the preparation process? One thing I would like to make it clear for you is, this examination is not only for IAS and IPS, there are some other services too. I think you are aware about that. Okay. Make an habit to know about these services also. There are many videos in the YouTube which are done by the people in the service. So you'll get an outlook about these services also. And the second thing is, it is not like those who are making into the list, they are the only people who are eligible for this examination, to clear this examination. There are many people outside the list who have worked very hard and who are more capable, but still they couldn't make it because there are some of the other factors which are not in our control. But to come into that stage where we can blame these factors, we need to do all the things which are required for this examination. See, you cannot sit in this classroom and we cannot say, if I am lucky I can clear this examination. No. You can say that word when you have done everything for the examination, when you are very well prepared, and say, if I am lucky I will get into this examination, into the final list. That is how it works. So, coming to the understanding part. understanding about the examination means, what is it?
Knowing about the syllabus.
Syllabus and pattern and previous year papers. So we have a number of videos on the YouTube and strategies by the toppers, everyone who says these are the best sources for our examination and this is the best strategy for our examination. So everything should be seen in this perspective only. So if they have suggested some source for geography, which is a bulky book, you should not see it in a perspective that you should read it cover to cover. You should go back to your syllabus chart, see what are the topics required and read those topics from there, make notes and keep it ready for your final revision. That should be the approach. Even Lakshmikant, it is like holy book for our aspirants, for quality. But when you see it in the syllabus chart perspective, you will see it in a different way. Mugging up from end to end will not help us, but reading a particular topic from the syllabus chart using this book, going back to the previous year questions, prelims and mains, trying to solve them and seeing where you are lacking. Is it on the concept part or is it on the remembrance part, and working on that. So that way it becomes easier. So understanding about the syllabus and going through the previous year questions will help you to put the efforts in the right direction. The efforts in right direction. If you put your efforts in the right direction, you will have efficient utilization of your time which you are investing in this preparation, so that you can add some innovation into the examination and improvise and gain some leverage over the others who are preparing for this examination. So whichever topic you are reading, be it current affairs or static part, keep the syllabus in mind. Even I was a student when seniors told me this, I didn't take it very seriously, and till now I am not sure about which topic is in which paper. This sometimes I get confused, but I understood this only after writing the mains examination, the importance of this. I was let me tell you my story. Like, I was taking prelims coaching in one institute, and because of pandemic the exam got postponed, and this is the crucial time for me where I got into contact with other aspirants from a different place, and that is when I understood all my preparation was in the wrong direction and all my efforts were in the wrong direction. I'm like, I can spend around 6 to 8 hours in a day consistently for the examination and reading, but I was not putting it in the right direction. I was not having a notes ready for the mains examination. I was in a confusion. Even if I clear prelims this year, what can I do? I don't have a mains notes, I don't have optional notes, what can I do? But luckily I got into the company of students who had these notes and who were generous enough to share these notes with me. I am telling all this to you because they have a leverage over us. Like, consider two students. Both have started the preparation in the year 2019 with the target of writing the examination in 2020. Okay, they have allotted 1 year of their time for the preparation, and they thought they will give the examination in 2020. So student A joined an institute, and he thought he will follow the schedule of the institute and whatever the institute says and go accordingly. So he had immense belief in this institute, and he did not have any personal planning, or he did not interact with the seniors or other aspirants who have cleared the examination. He was blindly following the schedule. But there will be some factors which the institutes might sometimes deviate from the schedule, or it might not be according to your grasping power. They might go faster, they might go slower. So you need to have your own schedule parallelly, apart from the institute schedule. So student B is aware of all these facts, and he is having a two-dimensional approach. One, he is going to the institute to get the notes. Second, he is making his own plans. He has his own schedule. Like I've started the examination preparation in March 2019, and by March, April, May, I should complete the NCRTs and have notes. 6 to 12, I should complete the NCRTs, I should have the notes. He did that. Irrespective of what is going on in the institute. Institute is teaching polity for one month, history for 1 month. It is going like that. But this guy, he did not have such a planning. He is following only the institute, and he completed only polity in 2 months. He did not go through the NCRTs, basics and nothing. He was giving the weekly test series. He was feeling he's getting good marks and everything, but only in one particular aspect of the examination. He was not covering whole the syllabus which is required. And next, after that, after 2 months, he joined ethics test series, classes and test series. So he's done with it in another 3 months. Now he has kept GS 4 paper aside. He has written a test series. He's so confident, and he has put the paper aside. And after that, parallelly, he also joined the optional classes daily 2 hours. And at the end of 8 months, he gave a test series for optional also, and that is also kept aside. Now he is left with 3 months to solely prepare for prelims. All this way also he is preparing for mains. As you know, there is no separate syllabus for prelims and mains. He was preparing current affairs, he was preparing static, everything. It is there in his daily schedule. But this guy, because of some reasons, optional got delayed in the institute, and he thought that would be sufficient because institute knows everything. And optional got started in November, and he did not complete the optional. The classes were not according to the schedule, and the date for prelims has neared. So he left the optional there. And at the end, after the examination, both of them cleared the prelims. Okay, here there is hard work, smart work, and he cleared the prelims. Here somehow he got lucky. He got into the right company at the end, and he cleared the prelims. But now who is having more leverage with respect to mains? This guy, right? You should be this guy, not this. You will regret if you are going according to this mentality, because there are many aspirants who have written 3 or 4 mains and still competing with you this year also, and next year also, and next year also. And who is having more leverage? They know how to write the mains examination. And the aspirants who have cleared mains and went for the interview, and for some other reasons they are not cleared, they know very well about the examination. You should gain leverage over them also. So you should do all the things which they have done already and do something extra. So where can you do this extra or extraordinary thing to get a leverage over the others? So there are 3 aspects of the examination: pre, mains, and personality test. Prelims is like a gate pass. You just have to qualify the examination, and you will be allowed to write the mains examination. Personality test is something all about you. It also includes how you have prepared for the examination also. Whether you are preparing in a multi-dimensional way or in a narrow way, that will be reflected in the personality test when they ask about particular current affair and the opinion. And your personal life, how much do you know about yourself? Are you aware of about things around you, about your district, about the place where you come from and everything? So this is also a bit uncertain. You cannot say I will score these many marks for sure. There are situations where a candidate has scored 170 to 180 in the previous year, and this year they have scored 150 or less. So there is no consistency in that. But in mains, it is something which we have in our hands. If you want more marks, you can get here. And within mains also, especially essay, ethics, and optional. Why I have written optional in bold words? Because I know the importance after I have seen my marks. I got only 224 marks in optional, and if I could have got 30 or 40 marks extra, I could have got a better service, probably All India service also. So optional plays an important role. If you see the top 20 candidates, and if you see the bottom 100 or 200 candidates, the difference will be in the optional only. Like there will be 100 or 120 marks difference in the optional itself. And in other GS papers, it will be more or less same. You can at the max bring a change of around 10 marks in one or the other paper. And ethics and essay, if you are not scoring on par with the people who are making into the list, you will have a lesser chance, even if you score very good in optional. So these are the three things which should be your main priority during the preparation on one side. On the other side, it should be GS, because GS is useful not only for mains examination, for the prelims also. You should have GS in your hands, the static and the related current affairs, and at the same time this should go parallelly. Okay, and these are also interconnected. These ethics and essay and GS are all interconnected. There is no like compartmented syllabus. If you are writing an essay, you can take inputs from either of the subjects and make arguments. If you are writing ethics, you can take inputs from GS current affairs and quote as examples. So that mindset you need to develop. That will come only after understanding the syllabus properly, going through the syllabus properly. So coming to optional, have you all selected your optionals? So when are you planning to give the examination? 2022 or 23? 22. Started with optional classes? Not yet. Still have time. So coming to optional, as I said, it will be advantageous if you complete the optional syllabus at least 3 months before the prelims and give a test series, one test series. And remember that whenever you have to give an examination, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to nail the examination in this classroom. You have to do that in another room on the day of the examination. Don't ever worry that I am not prepared this week, I won't give the examination. See, here examination is not only about implementing what you have read, it is also about the examination itself, the technique of the examination itself. So don't miss any chance to give an examination in the environment like this, like in an examination hall. Some people do it all by themselves at the home, but that requires a lot of determination. So you have the faculty and facilities here. So don't ever miss any examination. Don't ever deviate from the schedule. As I said, you should have 2 schedules. One common with the institute and the other for your own. Because only you know about your capabilities. Whether you are matching with the institute schedule or you are lagging behind. So make a plan for yourself. Don't get into this rat race like I should top this examination in the classroom today, otherwise I won't give this examination. You are going to lose. You are going to learn while writing the exam also, while writing the test also, be it through the questions or the options or anything. And with respect to mains examination, how many questions are there in each mains examination, in each GS paper? 20. 20, right? And let me tell you, I had the experience of writing these many questions, these lengthy examination papers in my MBBS. As you know, MBBS theory examinations go that way. But students come from different backgrounds, they don't have this writing practice. For them especially, it becomes very difficult to complete the questions even which you know very well. Because the speed matters there. Speed and legibility. You don't have to write exceptionally beautiful in the examination. It should be legible for another person to read. They should not confuse with your E and C. That should be the motto. You don't worry about your handwritings because that is not going to matter in a big way. What is going to matter is whether you are going to complete the 20 questions within the time and writing appropriate points or not. Okay, that you can get only if you are practicing through entire process of your preparation, not just after clearing the prelims. Highly impossible. Let me say that. Highly impossible after the prelims. You should do at least 2 to 3 questions per day from today. Not tomorrow, from today. because it could be anything. Start with the previous year questions. Even if you know the topic or don't know the topic, if you want to read it and write, it's okay. But what is important is setting a timeline. Take a time zone of 30 minutes and choose 3 answers and write those answers, whatever it is. At least write what you want to write in that answer. Like if they have asked something about a particular topic in polity, okay, for this topic I have to write the definition first. If you don't know the answer, at least write definition should have been written here. Keep going like that. At the end of your preparation, you will be doing a lot of revisions and tests, so you will develop the content for yourself. Don't have to worry about that. But what is important is knowing the structure of the answer and having the speed to complete within the time. So keep that in mind. And I heard that in this institute they are providing this initiative for daily answer writing and weekly answer writing. Don't miss on that. Not everybody is getting that opportunity. If you go to Delhi or some other place, you are just one of the other candidates. They don't worry about you. They worry about you only after you get into the final list, and they'll call you for some fill station and give a talk like this. That's it. But institutes like these who are taking care are very less. So make fullest utilization of these things available for you, and don't ever compromise on your preparation for anything. As I told you, this is the most valuable investment of time you are making. Make fullest use of it, and also remember, as I told you, at the end, not everybody makes into the list. It is a fact that only 761 people, around 760 people have made into the list this year. Doesn't mean that others have not prepared well. So keep that in mind and have the mental courage to accept that. Okay? And any other questions regarding preparation or any other thing?
So what was your duration, sir? Like how many days or months you took for the preparation?
My duration was, as I told you, 2019 March to present, and before that I was doing my internship. So I was watching some videos on polity, but as I told you, it was in the wrong direction. Those efforts I don't think have helped me. So from 2019 March you can consider all my efforts. And yeah, this is one particular thing, commonly asked question, like how many hours to study in a day and how many months you have to allot for the preparation. Nobody can answer this question. It is for yourself. You should divide and decide on that. You might be able to read 12 hours a day. You might have the capability. Someone like me might not have that capability. I get exhausted in every 50 minutes, so I take a break and do it for 6 hours. Even I sit for 10 hours, the effective period will be 6 hours. So you should plan accordingly. You should increase your time slowly, or you should see easier ways to complete these things. Okay, don't ever think that some other person is doing 18 hours per day. I'm doing only 10 hours per day. He might have greater advantage over them. He might be reading something which is not required for the examination in the wrong direction. If you can plan properly and make narrow down your sources and prepare within the short time which you can, yes, you can also make into the examination, no problem. So don't worry about that.
Sir, what if you are not good at mathematics? Can we trace yourself?
Yes, you can. This mathematics is not like post-graduation level. It is like what we do in our 10th standard and mostly understandable. So there is also another part which we neglect, is the comprehension part. So the best source for CSAT is the previous year papers. You can get other sources for comprehension and all, but the language of UPSC is different from these. You should understand the language of UPSC so that you can understand what answer they are expecting in that. That you can do only by going thoroughly through the previous year papers. And there are, for mathematical problems and reasoning problems, as you said, there are certain divisions also with respect to like age problems, time problems. So allot 1 week for each, do half an hour a day. You will complete those, make a short notes, just revise in the gap between pre and for paper 1 and paper 2.
So what about regional language?
Regional language, yeah, some of people might face this problem also if they are not good at this in the school level. So you can take the newspapers, regional newspapers, at least read one or two papers, two sides of the paper in a day. That way you can keep updated about the local current affairs also, which will be useful in your interview. You don't have to prepare again. And keep writing the words when you are reading that newspaper. You don't have to worry much. It's just a qualifying paper and you can do it if you have qualified 10th standard with that language. But it becomes difficult to write at that stage, like after 6-7 years. Even I felt that difficulty. But what I did is, on seniors' advice, I did the same. Like before 1 week of the examination, I started reading the local newspaper and writing down the words which I am doubtful about. Yeah, that will help. And what else? Anything specific?
Yeah, like in one of Tina Davis YouTube video, I had heard she telling that Bharat ko jano. So what does it mean? Like what are the aspects that we need to focus on such thing?
Bharat ko jano.
Know India when
Know
before
India.
preparing for UPSC. So like what are
Yeah,
the activities that we need to focus on?
That is the entire examination about.
Yeah.
Knowing about India. If you see the syllabus, you will have specific topics like Indian society and Indian polity, Indian economy. It is all about India. If you are reading a newspaper, there is a difference how UPSC aspirants reads the newspaper and how normal other citizens reads the newspaper, right? You know, when you see repo rate, many things should come into your mind. What you have read in the static. How is repo rate going to affect our economy? What is repo rate? Who is going to give it? Who can change it? All these things you should revise parallelly while you are reading the newspaper. And knowing India means, I don't know what that particular person wanted to tell, but yeah, this is what I understood. Like examination is all about knowing about our country and world on the whole. Yeah. What else?
Sir, what was your strategy for current affairs and what was like importance you given for the newspapers? Like how did you do so?
Okay, my strategy for current affairs. I used to read one newspaper, Hindu. I used to read newspaper for 1.5 to 2 hours, and parallelly I used to maintain a book where I used to just write the important words from the newspaper, which later I would read in the evening. Like if there is some news about water pollution in a particular, which is making a big news, or now there is news about electricity crisis or some other things. So I just used to mention here, or there is some international summit which has happened. I just used to mention like that. So in the morning session I used to do this, and later in the evening I used to follow one website which used to regularly update the current affairs on a daily basis. They used to give the current affairs what are there today and attach the static part also. So that way it is helpful in static revision also. I used to follow Drishti IAS. They are regular in updating these current affairs. They also give some 4 or 5 questions based on that. You can solve those questions. There are many websites, Drishti, Civils, Daily, Clear Eyes and everything. See which you find more comfortable to follow on a daily basis. And whenever possible, we used to do this in group. Like we used to see 3 people, we used to sit together and each one has to read one topic. What are the questions which can come out of this topic in prelims perspective and mains perspective? Because we have already done the static, so we have some idea on that. We can generate questions and that way organic revision will happen. There is no specific planning that today we will revise these things. So these 3 hours for current affairs on daily basis. And later, after like 3 months before the prelims examination, we will get compilations, yearly compilations. Which one to follow, don't worry about that. Because nowadays it has become highly difficult to predict which current affairs are being asked. So follow one current affairs. Current affairs will fetch you more benefit, especially in economy and environment and polity. Static and current affairs. here you can expect from these compilations one or the other thing you can expect. And with respect to science and technology, along with whatever you are reading for everything, follow another one also. Like if you are reading vision, also take Krauss, because science and technology is very important. And along with this, on a daily basis, if you still have the time, for half an hour, you can go through government websites, PIB or individual ministry websites. Individual ministry website, especially for topics like science and technology, when you go into Department of Biotechnology, they will definitely post what has happened in the recent times with respect to specific technology which India is looking forward to work on, or on which we have made some policies on. So that becomes important for our examination. So that way you can keep if you are using a laptop, you can keep tabs of these, and just it should be like a passing thing. Don't stress much on remembering these things. At the end, you never know. What you have to score in prelims on is the static part and the conceptual understanding of the static part, because everybody who is well prepared will score on this. If you are losing here and focusing more on the current affairs, then you will not be on the level playing field with these toppers who are going to clear the prelims. So first focus on these. If you are giving your 100% in this, then current affairs, this will suffice. Newspaper and daily one website will suffice for you to do that. And apart from all these mock tests, you can take daily 10 questions, weekly one full length mock test. In these tests you will know the technique. Sometimes there are elimination techniques, intelligent guessing techniques. Again, for these, before going to any institute's test series, go through the previous year papers. As I told you, UPSC language is different. Many test series, many people who are experienced give these questions in the test series also. But before that, go through this. And if you have observed this year's paper and last year's paper, last year there was a question, constitutional government is A, and the option was limited government. And this year the same question in the reverse way, the limited government is A. So these questions you should not lose on. There will be one or the other question like this, from the options or from the question. So go through the previous year questions properly, and that should be a source for revision to know how much you are prepared also. Okay, and don't worry about the marks you are getting in mock tests. It is less probable that these will be exactly reflected in your final examination. If you are scoring around 80 always, you might also score 110 in the final exam. You never know. So don't ever lose hope based on these marks, and don't ever lessen your preparation if you are getting more marks also. Because of overconfidence, sometimes we might overlook our weaknesses. So even if you are getting 110 in marks or 140 in marks, understand where you are losing out. Is it on the conceptual part, on the remembrance part, or the elimination technique or other techniques part? So work on those things. That way you can do that. And understand your accuracy also in prelims. How many questions you can attempt and be safe. Everybody has their own accuracy. It is different for each and everyone. Some will attempt 100 and they feel safe that they can clear the cutoff. Some feel exactly if I attempt only the questions I know, then only I will clear the exam. So it comes back with the experience of the marks. So that way you can decide. What else?
Sir, about your interview, like what questions they asked in the interview? Can you share the experience of the interview?
Okay, my interview happened on September 1st. Interviews actually started on August 2nd this year, and my panel was Smita Nagaraj madam. There will be 5 panel members, and you will be sitting at a distance because of COVID. Now they are putting at a distance, and most of the questions for me were based on my personality. Even though they are like social issues, they ask the question in such a way that it reflects your personality. Like for example, they asked about child marriages, and after that 2-3 follow-up questions, the final question was, do you think we should punish the parents for this? So here they are checking our personality and the way we are approaching the problem. So I told no, we should not punish the parents as such, because there are many other social issues which are acting on this. It could be the illiteracy of the parents, it could be intergenerational, it could be social pressure of the community. So you need to address those before punishing the parents. So that way, it went that way, most of the questions. And don't worry about the interview now. But keep in mind while you are discussing with your friends or making some argument, make sure those arguments make sense. Like take substantiation from a data. According to this data, it is so. So my argument is this. So develop that habit, and develop the habit of conceptualizing whatever you are reading. Like you just don't tell your opinions randomly. Organize them structurally, because that becomes very difficult during the interview preparation if you are not ready. We have got a lot of time to practice this year, but yeah, you can do that in your discussions with your friends. And I personally believe speaking on the positive side always. Even if you are going to give a critical point, like government has not worked well in this sector, you should say there is scope for the government to do better in this sector. See, there is a difference between the two. These are the minor things you can practice from now, but at the end, after the mains, you will have the required knowledge and you will develop the personality also, because this exam itself is about transforming the person. If you have seen me 1 year before, you won't believe me that I am standing here and talking with like group of people. I am a very reserved kind of person. I wouldn't talk much, but it has transformed me. Yes, this examination definitely has a role in what I am today. So it will help you to be better in every sphere. But the only thing I would like to stress is don't ever compromise on your preparation. Don't ever go into the wrong direction, and make sure that you are utilizing the resources available to the fullest, and decide properly on which resource to use and which resource not to use. These are the things. Anything?
Can you suggest the sources or books for anthropology?
Who is anthropology? Anthropology. See, my anthropology preparation was not that great, but I can suggest, if you are starting afresh, to develop interest in anthropology, you can go through Sapiens book. It is not an academic book. It is like a novel kind of book. So you can go through Sapiens first. And other books are like Ember and Ember. These are not academic, but it will give you a perspective of anthropology. What is anthropology and all that. On the academic side, you have many lists. If you go to YouTube and see the toppers videos, they will give better sources than me. There is Nadeem Hasnain book, LP Vidyarthi, Tribal Anthropology Career. And yeah, you can go through YouTube and you will find P. Nath for Physical Anthropology. Again, these, just like GS, you should see the syllabus of the optional first. And with that syllabus in mind, you should read these sources. Whichever point or article you read, you should think, where can I accommodate this point? In what kind of question? Go through the previous year questions and syllabus each time you read a topic. That will definitely help for you. Because any optional for that matter, there are n number of sources if you want to read. Whatever the sources you are knowing in this market, these are just the sources which previous aspirants have used. They are not the sources given by UPSC. You can use a new source also. There is no problem in that. But yeah, to make the content different, you can follow the current affairs with respect to your optional. Like for anthropology, I can tell there are some journals, medical anthropology, nature, etc. You can follow these journals, and whichever article is related to your syllabus, you can note down that in 1 or 2 points and include in your answers. That will give a different leverage for you, because the content is saturated in the market with big institutes and coaching centers. Everybody writes the same points. If you are giving this kind of points, maybe it will help you to get better marks. And
So any alternative for current affairs rather than newspapers?
alternative for current affairs.
Without newspapers, anyone interested in?
There is no such thing we can claim as trusted, because nobody knows what is asked in UPSC. But yeah, you can follow the newspaper analysis videos which are being made in YouTube on regular basis, and also, as I said, websites on daily basis, compilations. But your newspaper reading will give you the vocabulary also for mains answer writing and essay. So you need to see it in that perspective also. While reading the editorials, you should see the language they are using, the way they are approaching the problem. If you finally observe, each editorial will give you what are the advantages of that particular topic in discussion, what are the disadvantages, on which side he is standing. So that organized approach also you can develop with the help of newspapers. So there is no better alternative than the newspaper. If you are not able to invest that time, then you can go through analysis videos. That will help.
Will it be sufficient like editorials from a newspaper and a website? Main current affairs, will it be sufficient?
Yeah, that's for you to decide. You just go and write a question on current affair. Some of the institutes also give a current affair question on daily basis. See whether you are able to do that with the sources you are following. If you are not able to do that, then the source is not sufficient. That is as simple as that. Anything about the examination, any source about the examination. Go through the questions. If you are not able to do it reasonably good, then your source is sufficient. If something is lacking, you have to add something for that. That is as simple as that. And one more thing I would like to say. Whatever I have said, don't think that I have done it 100% and I have followed it rigorously. Because all these are inputs from different candidates and aspirants whom I have met and mentors who have given me these inputs. So choose the best for you. And as I said, you monitor accordingly whether whatever you are doing is sufficient for the examination or not. Monitor on a daily basis, on a weekly basis and monthly basis. That will definitely put you in the right track. So everybody know why we are here. Everybody know that this is a valuable time you are investing. So I believe you will do all these things and be in the right track till June, and you will clear prelims and write mains. Yeah. Then?
So last question, as you said you are already a doctor, like you completed, you have done your MBBS.
Okay.
Then after 2019, you completely gave your time for UPSC preparation, or you were doing something as a part-time? Because as of now, I am working for a company.
Okay.
So completely to leave the company and prepare for UPSC will be like something difficult for me, as you when it be seen by financial purpose. So how would you like suggest me or give an
Okay.
idea?
I didn't work anywhere. My entire time was in the preparation because I had my reason. Like during the process of my MBBS, the 5.5 years of process, I never looked outside my subject, be it social issues or newspaper or anything. I am completely blank after coming out of my medical about the social issues or polity, economy, anything. So I have even forgotten my basics in schools also, history and everything. So I thought I need more time for this. And as you said, there could be financial constraints, and there are people who made it even with these constraints, even while working for 8 hours or 9 hours per day, spending some 6 hours in preparation. So in this kind of situation, your timelines could be different. You might need a bit more time than others, but definitely if you have the grit and determination, you will get closer to the final list. But you need to be aware that you cannot go on diversifying your sources with the limited time. Choose your sources. Spend more time in choosing the source and seeing whether it is sufficient or not. So you need to spend more time there planning to efficiently use your time. Don't ever worry that you are working and some other person is giving entire time in the preparation. No. As I told you, even I had entire time, I could prepare only 6 hours per a day. That is my limit. So know your limits, and you can always extend your limits, whatever the consequences may be. You will have a better story to tell when you are here. That's it. Even I was working for 8 hours a day, I could make it. So that sounds good, right? Work for that.
Yes, thank you.
What else?
Sir, do you have any suggestions or any personal advice to the people who just started and like they have more time? to dedicate towards the study?
See, more time. There is never more time. You should come with timelines. You should come with timelines like I will give my best attempt in this year. Then you have very less time. Like if you have chosen 2022 as your best attempt, you should do everything you can do before the prelims and be ready for the examination. So there is no more time. If you are coming with that perspective, you are definitely wasting the time. You should also work on a plan B then. So don't be in that attitude. It is, yes, it is often heard that in the 5th attempt people clear, in the 6th attempt people clear, but it is not because they should prepare for 6 attempts because they are not they are having less IQ, not like that. It is because something or the other has not worked, or they were not in the right direction, or they were not guided properly. So these could be the factors. If you have all those things with you now, then why do you need more time to think of? Think that you have very less time, be on your toes always. Even I had that mentality that I will prepare for 2 years, then if I cannot make it, I will go into medical services, combined medical services, then I will try after working. So this kind of mentality will put you in confusion. My prelims marks after I checked the key was at the border. I was at the confusion whether to prepare for mains or that combined medical services. So if I made up my mind that the next year also I am going to attempt UPSC, I should have taken the anthropology test series and mains test series so that it will be useful for my next attempt also. Right? Next attempt it becomes easier. You are completing all this, assuming that you are clearing prelims. So to avoid those confusions, come with timelines. Very, very well set timelines. Because as I told you, this is very important point of our life, the age group of 20 to 30. So plan accordingly. Right?
Sir, one more thing. Like you said, after your MBBS, you just step into UPSC preparation. So you had forgot your basics, like what you had learned in primary also.
Yes.
So how did you start your first step in knowing things?
NCRTs.
Okay.
So NCRTs are very important in our preparation because the basics for polity, economy and geography you will get from NCRTs only, 6th to 10th. And even the history questions are more asked from the NCRTs, whatever there in the boxes and all. And they are not also, they doesn't need much effort also. You can complete one NCRT in, if it is in 6th standard, in 2-3 hours and make 1-page notes of the important points from it. That is enough. And as you go on, for geography, 11th and 12th NCRTs also become important. So that way NCRTs are helpful here.
NCRT includes this 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th
Yes.
books briefing, right?
Yes.
So no need to go and check with those books again, like
Which
primary textbooks, state textbooks.
No need.
History,
No
political,
need.
not
Go through NCRTs only.
Okay.
Because the language also will help for you. In NCRT books, for writing mains and essay, language will help. Yes. So after listening to all this, how many of you think you are on the right track? Or how many of you think that in the coming 1 month I will be in the right track? Good. Thank you. And any specific questions?
Sir, as it's a long process, sir, like how do we keep ourselves motivated, or like as we need to go through the newspapers like regularly,
Yeah.
newspapers and making notes of all those we study, and again comes to the institute and make notes of that also. So
It is difficult to follow this rigorous schedule on a daily basis. You can take little breaks in between, like weekly, half day week or 1 day week, according to how you feel yourself regenerated and refreshed. And you can develop a hobby. If you already have, don't leave it. Like hitting the gym or playing games for 1 or 2 hours doesn't affect your preparation. In fact, it ups your preparation because you will be in a good state of mind. And we ignore the time we spend on our mobiles, social media. If you calculate the 10 minutes we browse the our mobile phones, it will be more than 2 hours in a day. So cut down on that. And even if you are doing that, I used to do this after my mains preparation. I used to use Instagram, but what I did is leaving it was very difficult. So I have liked all the government pages. So even if I open, there will be schemes. Example, MyGov. So it will be constantly posting the schemes about what Modi ji is doing and everything. So look at it that way, and have friends outside the preparation. Not like frequently going out and hanging out with them, speaking out to them your perspectives about the examination, the issues you are facing in the examination, and someone who can share your things. So speak with them frequently. Be close to your family, or even over the mobile. Sometimes we neglect our family relationships. So all these things are the things of relief and refreshment for us. Find what gives you that relief and refreshment. Keep it as a part of your schedule also. That is very important. And
Thank you.
that's it. Shall we end this session?
Apart from this, how to maintain good health, sir? Because human health is, I guess.
Good health.
Yes.
Yeah, I am a proponent of good health. I constantly bug my friends also to follow good diet and do exercise, all these things. Because I have seen through the span of 3.5 years, from the third year of my MBBS, I worked in a government hospital because ours is a government medical college. Health is something which gives you the capability to do anything. If you are not in good shape, or if you are not in good health, your mental outlook will also be affected. So do exercise, or as I told you, sport for 1 hour, 2 hours a day, and be conscious on what you are eating. Good diet is very important. In preparation, if you are staying away from your home, most of the times you will have to eat food from PGs or outside stalls, and these are not obviously healthy. So add fruits to your diet. Fruits are best sources, and boiled eggs, these kind of things. All you know, just be conscious about your health, and you can take care of it. The thing, like, you should get that question: should I be conscious about that health? Then you will do everything and anything required for that. Until and unless you get that question, you will be sympathetic about yourself. Because I am away from my home, I am not having good food sources, I am unhealthy. No, that is not like that. You can always do another things to be healthy. That's it. Anything else? Shall we end this session? Okay, thank you. Thanks for asking questions also. Because I have taken, I have given my inputs in other place also, but students were very silent. Thank you.
Thank you.